Something else that I did right in my 20s was really taking action on my entrepreneurial aspirations. I had started a couple of businesses in my 20s. Unfortunately, because of growth, failure is one of the things that come with it. And failure is not to say that the individual is a failure, but you may have put up some businesses that just didn't work. It wasn't your time for that business. That business didn't align well with your attributes. So I definitely started off and some of those businesses just didn't work out, but it put something in me knowing that I could do more, that I carried over to my later years in life. And now I'm full-time entrepreneur, and I've learned from some of those mistakes that I did in the past. So starting off a business and learning more about residual income was definitely one thing that I'm glad I did.
That's dope. Tell me if you were impacted this way. So you're a full-time entrepreneur. I'm a part-time entrepreneur. One of the things that really opened my eyes up to the possibilities of entrepreneur is like having a job and getting paid a set amount for an hour. Okay, cool. And then experiencing doing, let's say, like less than an hour worth of work through entrepreneurship and getting paid literally quadruple that. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is the life. All right, I get it now. I get it. Like, it opened my eyes up because I'm realizing, like, just my paradigm shifted to what an hourly rate is. Like, what does that really mean? Like, locked into $20 an hour. Like, I've experienced, and this is not me flexing, this is real talk here at Raw Success. That's what we do. It's about real talk. $150 an hour for basic work. Like, you know what I mean? When I say basic, I mean not sweating. Like some signatures on a piece of paper, $150 in my pocket. And so I was really like, wow, did I just really make $150 just signing my name and just amazing. So did you experience that as an entrepreneur? Like, did your paradigm shift when you realized, like, wow, like what that means, the hourly rate, monthly?
Yes, it definitely did. But one thing, if we're going to be completely honest, which of course you're always going to get from us, sometimes the opposite.
Yeah.
Yes, granted, as an entrepreneur, sometimes, you'll have that big sale and it might be a commission of $20,000 that you just made. Okay. You have 3 or 4 of those, you're making what some people make a year. It's very great in that aspect. But the aspect that is not talked about enough is those 2, 3, 4 months without a sale. And you have credit card debt up to here, So no, I'm very grateful to be at a position in my business where it is definitely a lot more fluid, a lot more continuous. But yeah, it's not always like that. Sometimes, you have to save for a rainy day as an entrepreneur.
Indeed. Yeah, I appreciate the fact that you brought in that perspective.
Yeah,
the alkaline and acidic perspective. We need both.
I remember. And we will get right back to, the...
Bro.
I remember you, me, and our good brother Bernard.
Yes.
Bernard,
peace.
Sitting and building. And at that table, you had... And this was after Bernard had closed on his house.
Right.
And, Bernard, he works. He has a great job.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? And then he just bought the property. Me, I was his realtor in the transaction. And you were the notary in that transaction. Right. So we have 3 friends that all 3 played a different part.
Such a beautiful thing.
And we all received some type of asset or check from that. And in that discussion, it was like you as the notary made, what you made for it.
Right.
But as a notary, you have a lot more of those coming in every day or every week, and me as the realtor, I made what I made, but even though my check may have been bigger in that aspect,
much bigger,
it's not, I'm not doing one deal every day, or 3, 4 deals.
I may have 5 signings in a day.
Exactly. And I might have that one closing in that month,
and
so
don't lose your thought.
Yes.
And I don't know if you were going to add this, also to the risk and reward. So your check is bigger, but you've also had a bigger risk
100%.
and spent more time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you had our brother Bernard, who, he purchased the asset,
Right.
but, and with him, he used his employment to do so. That's right. So it's just three different ways in looking at life. And, one thing that we do with Raw Success is we're never going to shame anybody's method of making money.
Absolutely.
So whether you're self-employed, whether you work a 9-to-5, whatever, or whether you're just a full-time investor, just have your money in assets that's gaining. It doesn't matter what that is, it's honorable nonetheless, and it's all means to reaching your goals.
That's right.
So, yeah.
That's right. Absolutely. So speaking of which, perfect segue, which is crazy. My third right to do is I bought properties. Word up, it's right here. Bought properties. So yeah, just buying the properties, man. Besides the obvious, right? Financial and all of that. We already know that. But you got to think about what it took. I had 2 properties before I was 25. So think about that. Think about what it took for me to get there in terms of saving money, in terms of being disciplined, and, just a young man entering the world. So I would say, again, besides the obvious, just having assets, the lessons and the character development. I had tenants. I'm in my early 20s and I'm a landlord already. I'm dealing with a tenant. One of my tenants was old enough to be my mother, and she had 2 sons. Just that whole process. What they say is not about the destination, it's about the journey. Mm-hmm. That's not just a corny saying. You got to realize that it's who you need to become while you're winning, while you're dealing with the failures, i.e. lessons. Failures is just feedback, what you need to do differently. I would say definitely buying the properties. What it did for my family. I felt proud as a man, knowing that I can say and tell them that this is property that we own. This is daddy's,